Then, shall we? Hello, boys and girls. We are live again. There's no one here yet, but for those of you who do watch it after, and there are some, I am Mike. I'm not.
No.
I am Ian.
I know I'm Ian.
Like, as soon as you mean to go on, that was a complete mistake. I was looking at you in the screen, and
Good start.
It's all
good
gone.
start. Should we try that again?
Lucky it's not live, isn't it? It's I'm Ian, and
I'm Mike.
We talk football and get it wrong a lot of the time. But we are here. West Ham are taking on Leeds. Looks like it's going to be quite an exciting game. West Ham can shoot back up to 4th in the table, I believe, if we win tonight.
Yes.
We need to
No, 5th.
Why
We're going
fifth?
to 5th. You'll go up above Everton because you're currently on 45, Everton on 46. So if a win tonight will take you up to 48, and Chelsea are on 50 points with a win earlier this evening against Everton.
Okay.
2-0.
That's not good, is it? That's not good. Although I think that still does leave us with a game in hand.
Yes.
So not all bad. Everyone's above Liverpool.
Not us yet. We're getting there.
Not well. Give it 2 games. Give it 2 games. I do have a question for you though. Straight off the bat, how long before Steven Gerrard takes over at Liverpool? He's won his first title.
Yes.
In Scotland, playing very, very good, attractive football.
Yeah, congratulations to Rangers. I took him a year and a bit,
Yep.
two and a bit years. So yeah, it's nice to have a bit of competition back in Scotland. I know a lot of my Scottish family north of the border are Rangers fans, and granted some are Celtic fans as well. So it's a bit of a sore topic of conversation for the Celtic fans amongst my family at the moment. Certainly the Rangers fans are enjoying it. I don't think it'll be long, to be fair.
With Klopp absolutely falling apart, 6 games lost on the trot, all at Anfield.
Oh, you hate to see it, didn't you?
I don't think there's any. I know stadiums are empty, but I think if stadiums were open, Anfield would be empty because all the Liverpool fans have already gone into hiding. So
yep.
But our players are walking out onto the pitch. It is good to see that Fabianski is back. It's looking good. I'm confident.
I'll tell you what, mate. We might actually be
synced up for once.
Yeah.
Who's walking out for you at the minute?
Lingard is just walking past the camera now.
Yeah.
With
2,000.
Yes.
Mate, he's the best right back in the Premier League. He costs £5 million, and he's an absolute monster.
That's him.
He's an absolute monster.
Mate, we might actually be in sync today.
Very good. It's not very often that it happens, but it is happening. I think it's because we're both watching on different devices. So,
come on, Lloyd.
Come on, you guys. We are massive. So we beat
wearing an Arsenal kit.
Yeah. In December we beat Leeds 2-1. Tonight I've gone 5-2.
Yeah, you're very ambitious. I've got to say it though. I know when we do it live, the order will jump around a bit. So whilst we're just talking about scores, what a disappointment at the weekend for us. I was adamant we were going to get a point, at least 3 points out of that. I know you can get I was adamant we were going to get 3 points for that.
Who was you playing?
So disappointing. Burnley.
But it's a difficult game, Burnley. I didn't say I know. Be well drilled after their drumming against Tottenham.
But I think the difficulty with that particular fixture is, in fact, no, we have been our own worst enemy in terms of goals and stuff, because we've either conceded very stupidly early, which puts us on the back foot.
Yep.
Again, very stupidly early, or we just concede stupid goals. And I've been saying it for weeks, this whole playing out from the back business. It's only good if you are a team with players that can play out from the back.
Yep.
But when you have some fucking stupid... I don't even want to talk about it. It's still a sore subject. But I mean, Granit Xhaka, fair play to him. I mean, he knows he cocked up. The ball was kicked across the box, and yeah, he ended up hitting him on the side
In
and
fairness,
going deflecting into the goal. But
I don't blame him for that because I know he lost the ball, didn't he? But Leno played it out to him. Why not hoof it long? He's got no one to pass it to apart from straight back to you. So just get rid of it. You've got to. I don't care what the manager says. In that position, you've got to be able to read the game and go long. If Burnley are pressing you high, put it over the top of them.
And that's the thing. We come out firing on that game, and I was like, yes, this is going to be a good game. But we've seen it so many times that we get a fairly quickish goal, and then we put ourselves on the back foot. It's just been a bit of a torrid season for us. We've been so fucking, excuse my language, we've been so inconsistent. Like we had the performance that we did against Leeds a couple of weeks ago, and we absolutely romped them. And then we come to a team like Burnley. They're struggling to score goals, thus proving in this particular game as well, because we had to score for them, and then we couldn't break them down again. The substitutions, I think, for that particular game were too late to make any sort of impact. We went a bit stale from about 60 minutes on, and the changes should have come. And I called the substitutions. I was texting Dan at that particular time. I said, these are the substitutions I make. He took Odegaard off for some reason and put Lacazette in where Odegaard should have been.
Yep.
But for me, I would have taken Willian and Saka off and had Lacazette and Pepe on. So Pepe out on the left, Pepe on the right, Aubameyang on the left, and Lacazette up top. Mm-hmm. But we're playing a stupid football at the moment where we're trying to play Aubameyang as a target man, and it doesn't work.
He's no Andy Carroll, is he?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Do you want to talk about the lineups quickly, just before kick-off?
Yeah, Calvin Phillips makes his return. First game in 4 for Leeds. Mailer in goal, Cooper and someone else at back. I know Cox's not playing, so that relieves if there's any blunders later on. Ben Johnson for us is on the bench again. We've gone back 4, so a bit more attacking. Thinking that Leeds are going to be a bit more open. Lingard, Ben Rama, 4 nows. This is why I thought we was going to get 5. Since Lingard has joined us, I think he's in the best form of his career. But it makes you think, why have we not already tried to make that signing permanent?
Is there any kind of whisper of it becoming a permanent transfer? Or
apparently the club wants it to happen. David Moyes wants it to happen. But Manchester United, being Manchester United, I think are going to price themselves out of any move. He was meant to be out of contract in the summer, but they activated a 1-year release clause. And now they're going, we want 25-30 million for him. Well, not with 1 year left. It's not like, I know he's a good player, and he's hit a rich vein of form for us, but he's in the latter part of his career. So 30 million quid for another 2 years of prime football before he's the wrong side of 30.
How old is he? What, 28?
Yeah, I think he's 28, yeah. So, I mean, if that's what it would take to sign him, and we could guarantee that he was going to continue in the vein of form that he has, then I would say yes, he's probably a £30 million player. But with everything else that has gone on, I can't see them putting that much money into it.
Nah.
I know we're potentially going to get Europe this year, even if it's Europa League. Sorry, quick sip of tea there.
Love the branding as well.
It's a sports. If I spill this, then there's going to be a flood in the southeast. So just be glad.
Bucket OT.
Generally, I filled it up with cold water and do me cold water treatment in there after me cycling and just climb in.
Few ice cubes.
Yeah, man. Lucas Fabianski's back in goal for us, which is very good. I think if he was if no one had trodden on him before the Man City game, I think we would have won that. Darren Randolph just isn't quality, but Fabianski's getting injured an awful lot, and it's concerning. He's getting older. He's mid-30s now, so a handball.
I think
Mike Dean's refereeing as well. Don't be a Mike Dean. Mike Dean. They're giving a free kick. Right, will this be looked at by VAR? Because there was a handball first before the foul.
Yep.
So will VAR look at it and go, well, you should have called it. Should have called it there.
That was quite a blatant handball as well.
It was. And I was saying before Mike Dean had a couple of blunders that he's one of the better refs, but he's missed an early one there, isn't he?
Don't talk to me about fucking handballs either.
Now, here's the thing, is they've changed the handball rule again, haven't they? I'm not sure what to, because I read a full article on it, and it's still not...
It's whatever. Yeah, it was changed last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I couldn't find out what they'd actually changed it to.
Oh, it's something... They're talking about the shape of the body being outside of a natural position, or something to do with the silhouette of the body, or some crap like that.
That depends on what action you're carrying out. That's subjective.
It does,
because if you're jumping, and also, you could be anywhere in this range or that range.
Distance also counts as well.
I think you missed my jazz hands there.
No, mate, I'm livid. Livid with the decisions. I don't know how many times that we've been done out of VAR decisions this season. Again, I'm not saying it's any excuse, but I think we could definitely be. No, sorry, I say definitely. I don't mean definitely. We could potentially be in a better situation had some of the decisions gone our way. I think there's some absolute stonewall ones that they've had to give.
Yeah,
but for the I think it was Peters or something at the weekend that managed to get a blatant handball ruled out. But I was listening to that particular bit of it was later on in the afternoon because I had to pop out for an appointment, and it was the second decision, or the second penalty decision that was given for us.
Yeah.
Where there was a red card and a penalty. And this is how bad it's got. The commentators were saying, oh, do you think they're going to give the penalty based on the fact that they missed the one earlier?
No. That's offside. Lino's got his flag up.
It's going to go VAR?
Lino's flagged it, so I don't think it does. If he doesn't flag, VAR can look at it. If he flags, he's got it right. He's got it right. Good on him. He has got it right.
Yeah, so it's about a yard and a bit offside, isn't he?
Now, here's the thing. If you've got to draw a line, is it offside? Oh, actually. Sorry, I'm zooming in here. I don't think that is off. Oh, no, he's looking at the two lines. Look at the 2 lines. It looked from the angle of the TV camera, it looked off. But my thing I was just about to say is if you've got to draw lines, is it offside? Why does this keep now?
Yeah, it's offside.
Good. I'm trying to stop my screen from locking and I don't know how.
Wiggle your mouse.
No, I'm watching it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Because everything else is running. So if I had a headphone in, it was fine. Let's put a headphone back in and hopefully it will stay fine again. Mark Noble has signed a 1-year contract extension.
That's good.
And that happened today.
Is that just keeping him as a squad player?
Oh, he scored again.
Around the...
Now, here's the thing. This is the dangerous thing about Leeds. Is they play...
That's off.
Well, they've flagged it again. It's going dark again. What's going on, you fucking cunt? Excuse my language. With Nobes getting a contract, Right, let's try and put it into full screen. Why is that doing this?
The ball's gone well out.
Mummy. Leeds play very simple football. And the way to get through the West Ham defence is to play very simple football. I've said this for years. I've said it all season. It's still the fact. And this is what worries me a little bit, that we're going to concede. We have conceded 2 already. They've both been ruled off. So hopefully it will just be 5-0 now. I'm gonna get frustrated with this. Don't understand why it keeps trying to lock itself out. It did the first 25 minutes without a problem. What's going on? Right. What else news have we got football wise to do with West Ham? Frederick Alves looks like he's going to be called up from the under-23s to replace Balwainer, which is good. I think I figured it out. I think it's auto brightness. I don't think it's got anything to do with
your screen locking.
Yeah. But I don't know how to turn auto brightness off. Oh, eye comfort, that just makes it yellow. Auto rotate, yeah. Oh, I don't know. We'll figure it out, boys and girls. We will figure it out. Yeah, Balwainer looks like he's probably on the way out at the end of the season. Frederick Alves, player we've signed January last year, I want to say, playing in the under-23s. He's a big lump, but he looks like he could be in for a call-up to the first team.
I think next season there's going to be, I think there's going to be more, or we're going to see the emergence of more players coming through the youths as opposed to transfers. Don't get me wrong, I still think there will be transfers, and hopefully at the latter stages of this year we will start seeing more people back into stadiums anyway, which will start seeing revenue coming back into the football clubs, which is good. And I'm interested to see how the season ticket business and stuff's going to work. Is there going to be, but obviously the people that have got their season tickets or had their season tickets at the start of the season,
yeah,
will they? I suppose they're going to be given, or they'll have to be given priority. But I think the way I ask this is because there will be some people who are in an unfortunate position and may no longer be working.
Yeah.
However, they would have had their season ticket had there been no lockdown. So do they now have to forfeit their season ticket, or do you reckon they'll be able to get it on a deferred until like the start of next season?
Say that again.
So people who were, obviously they weren't or I know some clubs, they were given the option to buy season tickets this year, weren't they?
Yeah.
But obviously with no games playing,
yep,
I would assume that with games being played behind closed doors due to the pandemic, I'm assuming a lot of people ended up getting refunds on their season tickets for the time being. However, I don't know what it is for every club. Obviously, people are. It's going to be different. But what I'm trying to get at is for people who have had season tickets.
Yep.
If they are in the unfortunate position that their season, they can no longer, or they were made out of work because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
May not be able to afford their season ticket for the remainder of the season, or potentially going into the start of next season if they can get work or not when everything else starts opening up. So do they allow them to defer their season ticket for a season? Or is that it? They have to sacrifice their ticket?
I think it will go on a club-by-club basis, if I'm honest. I know that West Ham fans had to buy their season ticket anyway. And then obviously we got halfway through the season, they was like, well, we'll refund half the ticket. You can either keep it in your club bank to put towards next year's, or you can spend it in a club shop, or we can give it back to you, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you have given it up completely, you've given it up. You just join a waiting listing. That's part and parcel of it. Unfortunately, um, it's an unfortunate thing because there will be people in positions that have had season tickets for years, and now that has changed, or their situation has changed, so they won't be able to keep it. But I think that's probably the way they're going to go. Because in the interests of the clubs, I think most people will not really, or most clubs won't really be interested. They'll be like, well, we need money in.
Yeah.
So that sounds like your problem rather than ours. And I know that sounds a bit cold-hearted, but at the end of the day, I know they're only there because of fans, but they're a business.
Yeah, no, I get that, and that's kind of why I was up. The hypothetical question. I think it makes complete sense. At the end of the day, as you said, they are a business. They've lost out on X amount of revenue over the last 2 years, and it's not going to be until the middle this year, potentially the start of next season, that we'll start seeing larger capacities in stadiums anyway. So, I suppose they will have to take that approach. But I believe there will be some sort of petition or something somewhere from the fans that are disadvantaged by it.
I imagine if some clubs start taking a standpoint of we'll support our supporters for this year, then it will run across the line. But I think it all just depends on the financial sort of ability of the club. A club like Manchester United, they're not really going to feel the difference in fans not having been there because they have such a draw worldwide, and all the sponsorships they have and things like that. Where you look at the clubs like Fulham's and your people like that, they will probably feel it a little bit more in terms of club running, your Burnleys.
Yep.
Because they haven't got that international draw to be able to pull in money from selling shirts across the world and things like that.
That's what I want to discuss.
Go on.
The sale of shirts.
Sale of shirts, yeah.
Obviously.
Oh yeah,
so obviously we know.
Off, yeah.
Know my extensive shirt collection.
Yes.
A lot of my older shirts have been procured through such sites as eBay, etc. Obviously, because you can't buy them brand new.
Yep.
Although there are some companies that are making fake reissues of older shirts, and I will admit there's a couple I have had to get in order to complete my collection. For example, the 1986 to 88 away shirt.
Yep.
Bright yellow, virtually impossible to get hold of, but I did manage to find a company that were making a replica of the shirt, which was fairly cheap. So but what I'm trying to get at is there are a substantial, so if you have a look at the likes of eBay, there are a substantial number of fakes, but not only fakes, but poor fakes.
Yep.
And it really disgusts me when I see someone trying to sell some of these fakes, A, as legitimate shirts, and B, for ridiculous prices. And there's a part of me that wants to message these people and saying, are you actually for real? Considering some of the fakes that I have seen, that you can pick up the original shirt for.
Yeah.
And I think it's disgusting.
I do think it's people preying on the goodwill of others. I do think it shouldn't happen. But at the end of the day, I think it falls into public domain stuff, doesn't it? How long is the trademark on that shirt? Probably 5-10 years, 15 at most. And then people can do what they like. I do think it's a shame that if you're making replicas, you'd want to make it as close to the original as possible and a good quality to sell it for quality. But people just go, right, let's make this as cheap as chips. It don't matter what it looks like because some sucker's going to buy them.
Yeah.
Right.
Me. No, there's been a couple of shirts that I've, as I said, when I've been looking to complete my collection, that I've been looking or traipsing the internet for, and you do see the likes of these things on eBay. Some of them are absolutely shocking. But again, I put the research into the shirts. Obviously, we were discussing my shirt collection as I was building it.
Yep.
I had quite a substantial shirt collection anyway, and there was a few that I was waiting to get hold of, which I did manage to get. Some of them a little bit more expensive than others. I won't mention prices, just in case my wife's listening. But I would say I have quite a substantial shirt. Well, I have every shirt from 1985, the year I was born, home and away, and thirds to present, with the exception of one shirt. But I think that was only because it was used for a couple of games, and it was the old O2 shirt. So I've got the gold Sega shirt, but we did, and when we went to O2 as our sponsor, they did. I played a couple of games in the gold O2 shirt, but that shirt is rarer than rocking horse poop. I think I've seen one for sale, and it was 250 quid, and that's a penalty.
Well, I think you're ahead of me. What I was going to say is West Ham seem to be very jittery in these opening stages. That is a penalty. Yes.
All day long. Who's your designated penalty taker?
Noble. Declan Rice took it last time. He took it on with the captain's responsibilities. Jesse Lingard last time got brought down. Same as that. Are they just showing the replays on yours?
No, I'm.
You're ahead of me now.
Okay, I will keep my mouth shut.
So yeah, Mark Noble is our designated penalty taker. He's not on the pitch. Declan Rice took the last one off with Lingard. I'm hoping. Well, I say I'm hoping. It would be nice for Lingard to take it. He was the player brought down, and I'm of the belief if you were the player that was fouled, you should get a opportunity to take it, which looks like he is. Come on. No, I've not seen his penalty taken up. If he does a stupid jump or steps, then Declan Rice should 2-foot him. He's been brilliant, but that has no place. Low and hard is what you need. Come on. 20 minutes on the clock. Jesse Lingard, he's running up, and oh, you fucking penis! Yeah! Yeah!
He went to give him his dues. He went low and hard.
He did go low and hard. And that's why you go low and hard doing a penalty. And that's from being a goalkeeper. They're the hardest ones to save, because if you do, you have to get down to them. You get the odd one that you can block with a fire and get a bit of a stinger, but you've got to get down to them, and it's really hard to keep hold of them. Mate.
Jesse Lingard, 1-0 to West Ham.
Fucking get in.
We are massive.
We're fucking massive. Now, here's the thing.
Yes.
What is it? The Euros end of this season, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is Jesse Lingard going? Would you make your England squad?
I would say on recent form, yes.
He's got, hasn't he? He's got to go.
Yeah, definitely. So, when did you sign it? It was like end of January, wasn't it?
End of January.
Deadline day.
Yep.
Was it deadline day?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, and he made an immediate impact at West Ham. I think he's been absolutely brilliant, and for me, yes, he would.
When we come out of lockdown, he did make a statement online saying that he was the fittest. He come back the fittest and the strongest in the Manchester United club or Manchester United squad, and just never got an opportunity to play. And he come to us, and we was all I was, and I know a number of other West Ham fans were a bit pessimistic about. He's not played in 9 months, but he hit the ground running. He played 2 games in 3 days and was blinding. Now,
I think a portion of that might be the fact that he has been out for so long.
But he's kept himself fit.
Yeah. I would say personally, are there players better than him at Man United? I know he did go off the boil for quite a while, and that's why it was dropped, but
he wasn't playing consistently.
No.
He was getting a game here and there.
That's what I was just about to say.
Restwell with a big ball in. Out to Suchek at the back, put it back in the box. No, it's cleared. Now, West Ham are top 4 goals from set pieces in the Premier League. Second in goals from corners. Aerial goals second. We're a big squad. Some would say you're fucking massive. Now the goalkeeping situation.
Mm-hmm.
There was rumours a week or so ago of Dean Henderson, but after his performance in the Manchester derby and a number of other games, I think he's going to end up being Manchester United's number 1 keeper. I've said he should be for a long time, but I think finally that's now going to happen. So that rules him out because he's not going to leave that, is he, for being brought up through their academy. He's not going to leave that role becoming their number 1 keeper. We've been linked with Aaron Ramsdale, the relegator, who I think would be a horrendous signing for us. We've also been linked with the guy who's in goal for Leeds, Ismail Mailer. He's a French fella. He's very young. Decent keeper, but maybe struggling a little bit with being used as like that sweeper keeper.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit similar to Leno in a sense. He's a very good shot stopper. But he gets played some balls back that he shouldn't do. It puts them in a tricky situation. We don't tend to play like that, so I think it would be a good idea. I do think he'd be fairly costly because he is a young player. The other question that comes about is he's not played in front of a crowd. So I know West Ham have thrived when we've not been in front of a crowd. Some players have thrived, some players have floundered. Which one is he? We don't know yet. You got 30,000 people booing you in the last 2 minutes because you've missed a goal or missed a save. How's he going to react to that? I do have an interesting stat about West Ham.
Got it.
This season, West Ham are the only team not to make a defensive mistake that leads to a goal. Leicester were the other team, but they made one the other day that gave the ball away, led directly to a goal. So I'm quite pleased with that.
What do you put that down to? Why do you think you are playing so well at the
moment? We've got hard-working players in the team. David Moyes, when he took over the first time, that's the one thing he did. He said, if you're not running, you're not playing. A number of players obviously was all still at the club, played under him, knew that was the case. Our recruitment's been brilliant with the fact of was that a red? Because he was last man there. So Cooper takes down Antonio. Now the other day when it was last man, we got a penalty and double jeopardy means he didn't get anything. There, Antonio's through on goal there, and he's the last man. So it's denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. So surely that should be a red. Doesn't even look like he got booking. The rules are not consistent, Mike.
And they're not.
I know we say this every week. The rules are not consistent.
Bloody VAR. There's the
Yeah, so you've got now Lingard and Cresswell standing over it. Ben Rama has had a few wayward free kicks, so he's not written in with a shout, but this should go to Aaron Cresswell, I think. Most set pieces this season, 13 for West Ham. This is a few seasons ago. This is where we all get excited because Payet. Come on.
Is that a handball?
Don't say that. Oh, fucking hell. I think he almost killed someone, that deflection. Is that what you're saying? Was that a handball? Was it a handball? I don't know. You're ahead of me.
No.
Oh, shit. No, it come off Luke Ayling's face. Luke Ayling saved his team with his face there. Oh, no, it was his chest. But yeah, so we've brought in Suchek, who has covered the most distance of any player in the Premier League. We have brought in Sufal, who is up there as well. Neither of them stop running. Antonio doesn't stop running. Declan Rice doesn't. Yes, get in! Craig Dawson is an absolute beast. Allegedly, we're going to try and sign him, and that's going to be a £3 million deal. And worth every fucking penny, even if he does rubbish.
Where does he come from? Was he at Wolves or something?
He's at Watford. He's a Watford player.
Watford.
He got relegated last year. Had a bit of a torrid time at Watford last year, but so did lots of very good players. Put him in a hard-working squad. Look what he does.
That is a great goal. Love the celebration as well.
Another set-piece goal.
14 now, mate. 14.
We are a big team. Yeah, but say it comes down to hard work. I think every player has bought into the manager's philosophy of hard work. I think it helps that although Souček has been in with the goals, he's a very good defensive midfielder. We've got, in my opinion, the world's best defensive midfielder. Most interceptions, most tackles, most 50-50s won in the league in Declan Rice. I don't like the little noises. Does that mean 2-1?
No. Well, not yet.
I think it means that obviously with the quality as well as the hard work, it goes well. But as we all know, confidence leads to playing better. Usually we're injury stricken. We've had a couple of injuries. We have got now Masuaku's out, Ogbona's out, Fabianski's been out a couple of times. Come on, Bam! Someone take him out. But generally we've been all right for injuries. So, do you know what the interesting game's going to be? Us versus you.
Yeah.
If we've got a fully fit squad, we're going to absolutely romp you. And the reason I make that is, go on.
I was just going to say, sorry. I think you're right.
And the reason I think that we would do that is that we will outwork you on every position on the pitch. When you stop running, our players will still be running. And
true.
And that's that never say die attitude sort of thing.
If he's fit.
Are you? But he's going to be up and down the pitch playing against Sufal. Well, I don't think we'll be outworked by him. You think as Tierney overlaps, Sufal will overlap as well and underlap and track back, and that I think personally will be the most interesting battle. Who gets caught out first?
Yeah. You watch, it's going to be a boring 0-0 draw.
Oh, you said it now. You said it now.
No, to be honest, I do think you will beat us. Again, just because we've been so inconsistent this season, and the game I'm actually dreading the most is the next fixture. So, I mean, we can briefly talk about the predictions now, if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
So coming up, we have got a trip in the Europa League. Somehow we have managed to draw an away fixture. We're supposed to be, I believe, the home team for this one. I could be wrong, but we are playing Olympiacos in the Europa League, who knocked us out last year with... so we are the home team, but we have to...
I don't even know who plays for Olympiacos anymore.
I do.
They used to have a fairly decent squad, but...
Socrates plays for Olympiacos.
Well, you know that's going to be a 1-0 then, don't you? And he's going to score the winner.
So yeah, we have got. Oh no, it is at the Emirates.
Oh, Antonio.
Second at the Emirates. Yeah, just get the conversion.
No, Antonio's gone for an outside of the ball, kick up the field to Ben Rama. He's completely spooned it. The Leeds players tried to do it. Oh, Benrahma's through. There's the conversion.
Yeah.
I think he's going to score today. I think he's going to get his first West Ham goal. Olympiacos, yeah, come on, who plays for Olympiacos?
Right, let's see if I can get any news. No, I can't. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. As I said, we got knocked out by him for an unlucky away goal. Or no, it was a good away goal. So they beat us on away goals last year. Funnily enough, in the round of 32, so we're going into the last 16 now. I feel that we will win this game, and I think that we will win this game quite comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
However, going into the away leg, I think they'll do us on away goals. But so we have Olympiacos on Thursday, then we have the North London derby on Sunday. I am not looking forward to that game in the slightest. Just looking at Spurs, they pick up a bit of momentum again. Harry Kane and Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale has been on the score sheet quite a few times in the last couple of weeks. And when he signed back for Tottenham Hotspurs, he was one of the reasons why I was dreading Spurs this year. I think he will start against us on Sunday. I think he'll be rested, and I think he will score against us. And I think Harry Kane will score against us. And I think Heung-min Son will score against us.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
I think we're going to get battered on that game.
People were talking about, wasn't they, that Son, Kane, Bale front three being so dangerous. Gareth Bale took a long time to get, and that's the difference. Jesse Lingard, Gareth Bale hadn't played for the same amount of time. Gareth Bale has taken 6 months to get to a point where he's playing well and he's match fit. Jesse Lingard come in match fit. But yeah, they have hit a spate of a good spell of form. I think it's going to continue.
I'm going to go for 3-1 on that one to Spurs. I'd love to be proved wrong. I really, really would love to be proved wrong. But I have got a feeling we're going to get absolutely spanked. We need Laka to start. We need Aubameyang to start.
5.
You're going 5.
5-0.
Oh,
I know Tottenham have got the ability to leak goals. I think if you concede in the first half and then early again in the second, not necessarily they'll sit back. I think your heads will drop and that will leave lots of open spaces. My biggest concern for Arsenal at this point is you've got the Europa League to play for, so I think everyone will be up for that game. If you lose that or draw it, or you go out this round, your players are going on holiday mentally because there's nothing to play. You're not going to get in the top 6. You're not going to get top 4. So what we're playing for this season, let's just host, and that then will, which won't be good. I don't think Arteta would want to allow that to happen, but that's very hard. Oh, another Benrahma, good save. I think that's the danger you've got going forward. Is potentially you're going to get absolutely battered.
Yeah,
like a bit of fish.
Yes.
See, Benrahma. This is what I mean. He's tricky and he's flicky, and his ability to get past his man or get players in is brilliant. He's just been unlucky with not being able to score. He's had a couple of good chances. He likes cutting in, and I think part of his ability not to be able to score is the fact he hasn't scored, and he's snatching his chances a little bit, trying to force it a little bit too much. Another corner for West Ham. Aaron Cresswell puts in a big ball. Dawson's almost on the end of it again. Player that, for me, I would love to see a few more goals out of. Pablo Fornals. When we signed him, that summer he was playing in the under-21s World Cup or under-23s World Cup, whatever it was. and he was banging them in left, right, and centre from like 40 yards out. He came into us, was played out of position a little bit, took him a little while to sort of acclimatise. Works very hard. He's got some really good passes in him, but we've just not seen the goals. We know he's got the ability. But I think again, he's a confidence player. If you were to put him in sort of a prime Barcelona team with Xavi, Iniesta, he wouldn't look out of place because he's a bit like he's calm on the ball. He's got a few little skills, but his range of passing is phenomenal, and his ability to hit a ball is phenomenal. He gets. When I watch West Ham, this is what I'm getting at. When I watch West Ham compared to when I watch other teams, for example, if we were to play Burnley this week, Arsenal you didn't have the best games, but you looked like you had time on the ball to be able to think about what you was doing. When we play them, everything seems to be like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. And everything's panicked. There's no calm. Like, you don't seem to go, oh, right, we've got possession of the ball and we're going to keep it for a little while and just play some nice silky passes. And everything's like, oh, fuck it all. And I don't know why. Because even now, when we're playing really well, Leeds are renowned for their high press, but even so, like Declan Rice just picked up the ball then, no one around him, it's quick, oh fuck, and pass the ball, well, yes it was forward, but there's no, take your time with it. What's your impression, what's your observations of Mike Dean thus far? He's only really had one decision to make.
Yeah.
In the handball. Well, he made the penalty, but that was clear. The handball he got wrong early on in the game. His linesman's been on point.
And to be honest, I think it's a little bit difficult because there's times when we were talking, obviously, we're having to get engaged with each other by looking at the screen or whatever. So there may be some stuff that I'm missing. From what I've seen, it's been okay.
He's not had any huge blunders.
No, not yet. There's time.
And this is the first time Leeds have played West Ham at home in a long, long time. Last time we played them at home was at Upton Park. When I might have got this wrong. The manager who's just died, his name has escaped me. They've given a minute of clause for him at the beginning of the match. But he was in charge of West Ham. He was only in charge for 2 years. Got a rough run of it because he didn't do terribly, but he was made out to have done terribly.
Something stupid like Glen Road or something, was it?
It might have been, yeah. I think you're correct. Dufau here again, running up. Man of the match against Manchester City without a shadow of a doubt. Right. Here's my next point. And I touched on this in a number of match predictions now. Declan Rice is the world's best defensive midfielder. Certainly in the Premier League this year, as shown by the stats. His ability to win a ball back, making interceptions, such and so forth. He's been starting to make strides going forward recently, more up the left side of the pitch than the right. Oh, go on. I think Fornal should have hit that early. I think he should have hit that first time rather than trying to wait for it to slow down. But we have got a corner. But he seems to have doesn't seem to have the ability to know when to pass the ball, when to run with it. I think he will pick it up fairly quickly, being he is a quality player, and when you see his training videos, he has got the ability to strike a ball. Do you think he should stay back more, or do you think he should be making these forward runs more often?
Well, I like attacking football, so
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but like Pirlo towards the end of his career, where he used to sort of sit back and play the spraying balls against England that time, where he sat 3/4 of the way into, or 3/4 of the way into our half, and just was pinging balls left, right, and centre. I think that's what Declan Rice should be doing, rather than making these gut busting runs, which you'd expect from your wingers and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I want to see him run 40 yards and bang in a top bins goal, but at the end of the day, when he loses possession, we then got no one back.
So Souček just clattered the post.
Yep. Right. I reckon the post is going to need to come off. Souček will take a minute to get back up at the post. You see that? The minutes come back on, he's just gone, nah, go away.
He said 3 minutes to potato salad.
But this is the thing, when he headbutted that player, right, smashed his face open, well, the first thing he did was get back up because the ball's still in play. How many other players do you see doing that these days? And how many will just roll around on the floor for ages? So,
I would say a good 98% of the rest of the players in the Premier League.
What, would get up and carry on?
No.
I was going to say, what are you on about? But then he'd say he had stitches and they was just chucking Vaseline in it and bandaging it up, but it kept leaking through. He kept having to go off and chuck more Vaseline in it.
Yeah, I heard they had to get Floyd Mayweather's cut man to come in for that one.
Joke's got a little bit over my head, but I didn't think Floyd Mayweather was one for cuts.
What's that? Sorry?
I didn't think Floyd Mayweather was one to get cut. I didn't think he'd get hit very often. That's why he went 50-0 in it.
Oh, it was a joke.
Oh.
It was a joke. Oh, it's a very poor one, obviously. Jesus. I'm not here all week, luckily for everyone. All right. All right. Who's Rocky Balboa's cut man?
Oh, okay.
Jesus. Oh, last time I make a joke on this channel.
Sorry, I was a bit. I thought about it. I laughed because like, oh, okay, yeah, boxing, cut man, yeah. And then I was like, and then my brain went, Floyd Mayweather doesn't get hit very often.
Well,
that
was the first. That was the first time I made a joke on the channel. It was the last time. So you've just burst my bubble there on live TV. Thanks very much.
Sorry, mate.
Poppity pop pop.
Oh, don't do that. They haven't even taken the corner yet, you bastard. Now I've got to watch intently, knowing we're almost going to score. What I would say is I don't know who West Ham's next fixture is, so I can't really make a prediction. I think it's Manchester United.
It is.
No,
Manchester United. Yeah, that's. See, I did that. As a joke, and then it actually.
That was so close to 3. And when I said 5, lots of people went.
I'll tell you what, mate. I think you're good for it today. If not 5, definitely 4.
Here's the thing. In the second half, like we have the ability to concede goals. We know this. The difference from last season is last season we were up there with most points lost from leading positions. And it was like 35 points by the end of the year.
Wow.
And this year we're not doing that. But Leeds will come after it in the second half, which will open up the back line a little bit more. I think that the wing back will push forward a little bit more, leaving room for Fornals and Lingard and Benrahma to get in. But Manchester United,
yes,
looking a bit fragile, I would say. Looked good against Manchester City, but I don't think that was any doing of Manchester United. I think that was City playing poorly. Raheem Sterling just couldn't seem to find a net. He's never scored against United. And he was, I think any other team he would have had two or three goals just on his own. We lost Manchester United last time we played them. I know we lost 3-1, but we absolutely smashed them. and then they made a couple of second half substitutions, and we fell apart. I think they're patchy form, aren't they? This is the thing.
Yeah.
Is that they'll whenever he's under pressure, they seem to do really well, and whenever he's not under pressure, they play poorly. They beat City. Have they got they've got Europa League game this week as well, haven't they? And I think that will give us an advantage. I think we're going to win it 2-1.
Okay.
That's my 5 pence worth.
So just looking at the form of the two teams. So West Ham have got 3 wins, a draw and 2 losses. You were quite unfortunate against Manchester City. It looks like you're going to win this one very comfortably. Manchester United have got 3 wins and 3 draws. So looking at the form of the two clubs, you would say that Manchester United may have the upper hand. However, as you quite rightly said, they have got European football coming up this week. I can't even remember who they're playing, but I know they are playing. Let me just double check.
It's the travelling, isn't it? It's the extra game.
Yeah, no, they're actually playing at home, so they've got AC Milan at home,
which is not going to be an easy game, is it?
No.
And the thing with Manchester United, you take Bruno Fernandes out, they're a different team.
Because you'll have no one else diving around in the box. Well, can I just say, what an absolute joke as well. How the hell they've got so many penalties this season is ridiculous.
The one against City was a penalty.
No, and I would say
that's one of the only ones that should have been. Yeah.
But they've just had so many. It's ridiculous. I think he's scored like 21 penalties this season.
Well, last year it was Liverpool's VAR, and this year it's Manchester United. They've bought it this year. So
definitely paid someone. Anyway, I'm gonna go for the reverse. I think. Okay. I think it'll be a close game actually, and I think it's going to be some stupid late winner, and it will be a penalty. So I'm going to go West Ham to score first, but Man United to win 2-1.
2-1. Fair enough. And on that bombshell, I think it's time to take a little bit of a tea break and come back for the second half.
Yeah, no worries.
So we will be back for the second half. Goals of the week we've got coming up. Obviously, the second half of the football. I think that's it, isn't it? I think we've covered everything we usually cover. If you are interested, every week we do a podcast. Comes out on a Tuesday. Yeah, we talk everything football. It's a little bit more structured than it is now because we're watching football at the same time. So brains go, football can't talk. Yeah, but we will be back for the second half. We will make it a little bit more structured, and we will get into the nitty gritty of what's going on at Liverpool. I think it's a needs must. They're turning into the worst defence of a Premier League title ever, and it's nothing short of sublime. Yeah, but we'll be back shortly. to the swing of everything, shall we? The players were just walking back on the pitch, and now my thing's gone to a horse racing advert, which is, I find, rather frustrating. I thought there was a ban on it, but who knows? You got that geezer.
I think that's before.
Who was the promoter?
Before
who
9
was
o'clock.
found on a dead horse, you know.
Oh yeah.
Now here's the thing: you would say it's disgraceful that happened, and or distasteful, you should say. The old Prime Minister fucked a pig's head. Like, I think, in comparison to the treatment this guy is getting compared to what David Cameron got, I think David Cameron got off quite lightly.
In his defence, he was. In fact, there's no defence.
I was going to say he was young. That doesn't make it any better.
He was, yeah. In his defence, he was. No, there's no defence. It's shocking behaviour. We do not condone pig fucking on this channel.
No, we don't. There's lots of things that we will condone that maybe go against the grain, but that is not one of them.
I love it. Oh, I personally don't. I've never tried.
2 changes here for Leeds.
Yep.
Jack Harrison's coming on. And Alioski, 2 very, very dangerous players, but I said they would go forward, didn't I?
Yep.
Jack Harrison doesn't really care what happens at Leeds at the end of the season, I don't think, because he's actually on loan from Manchester City.
I'm just going to very quickly check that we are live again.
We should be. That's what it says to me.
Yeah. We're good. We're good.
So Leeds have got to go for this. And this is the thing: is everyone will say how expensive their football is and how entertaining it is. They've got to start getting results, haven't they? They have the ability. They do have the ability to go and destroy teams very convincingly, but they don't do it often enough. And I think some of that is the complete lack of Premier League experience in the squad.
I'm going to say that I would quite welcome this defeat to Leeds because that gives us a bit of a cushion. So at the moment, Leeds are currently level on games with us, but 3 points behind. If they were to... Oh, no. To be fair, if they were to win tonight, which I really don't see happening, they would still be below us, but it would be on goal difference because they are currently sitting on -3.
Yeah. But so, obviously, I don't think that they're not going to get relegated this season. We all thought they would be the team to do what Sheffield United did last year, but that seems to be what West Ham have done. Sheffield United obviously suffering with second season syndrome, and I would attribute a lot of that because I thought they recruited reasonably well, but I would attribute a lot of it to the loss of Dean Henderson in goal. When you have a solid goalkeeper, as you saw when West Ham had old Stumpy Joe Roberto in goal.
I love it.
We were a different team. Got Pellegrini sacked, brought in David Moyes, which is the best thing that could have ever happened. But you take away a quality goalkeeper, team falls apart. Simple football. Simple football is what I said, and simple football almost leads to a goal straight away. We're not starting these halves very quickly, are we? They put 2 in the first 5 minutes of the first half, both ruled off. That would have been onside. Patrick Bamford, former Chelsea prodigy, finally getting his chance. He's a decent player, not prolific enough for me, but he's a decent player. I'll give him that.
Speaking of which, I've still got him in my bloody... Mate, fantasy football.
Fantasy football's fun for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
And then it falls off. And people who go, "Oh, I won the fantasy football," you didn't really win. You're just the only one who still does it.
I think that's it. I won it a couple of years ago. First time winning it, and I think it was by more luck than judgment. And as you say, people get bored. I think when you start seeing your place fall down the leagues of whatever you're in, I think next season maybe we do one where people can join it.
Yeah. FDT-TV fantasy football.
Yeah, let's do it. So
Yeah.
if you want to, well, obviously you're now closer to the time.
We'll
Because
have it
let's
open all
be honest, no
season.
one
We'll put
is
it in
going
the
to give a shit
description
now.
of everything, won't we?
Hmm.
Now, before we get into Liverpool falling into rack and ruin, Martin Odegaard, some apprehension, some excitement. He's played a few times now. Personally, I don't think he would get into the squad if Emil Smith-Rowe was fit. But being an Arsenal fan and obviously being under the microscope, what's your impressions of him so far?
I quite like him, to be fair. I know what you mean. There has been some kind of hits misses from people, and some people saying that he isn't good enough to be in the team. I, however, disagree. I think he's one. I think I would make a permanent transfer, because granted he's come in half the season, and I know what to say about Emil Smith-Rowe. Obviously, he did get injured a couple of games ago. I think it was just a bit of calf tightness, and I don't think it's a long-term injury by any stretch. But I do seriously think that Odegaard could be one that would flourish under Mikel Arteta, and I would be inclined to try and make that a permanent transfer.
I would have given credit for that goal if it had gone in. Good save by Fabianski. That was a good effort. I think
Was that Rafinha?
it was Rafinha come off of Diop's face. Fabianski, but here's the thing: Darren Randolph's in goal. That's 2-1.
You don't like Randolph, do you?
He did us a solid when Andrian got injured, a number of years ago, but he wasn't there at that point. He wasn't Premier League quality, which is why we sold him. He then went to the Championship and had 1.5 season that was decent, and then 1.5 seasons that was rubbish, and we signed him back. I know we need cover. We've got David Martin, he's more. I would see him more as a player coach or mentor than I would do as a player. And then we've got Joseph Ayang and Nathan Trott, who are just very young. But I'd rather have Trott in goal than I would Randolph, because if he gets it wrong, you put it down to inexperience.
Mm-hmm.
What excuses Darren Randolph got other than you're not good enough? West Ham here with a corner. Don't do that. West Ham with a corner, big in swinging corner. He's put it out. Fornals has hit it. Oh! Do you see what I'm saying about he's got the ability to strike it?
Yeah. He's hit the crossbar as well. I thought it was a good save to start off with.
When in the tournament that he was playing, and he was scoring them for fun. He scored 4 of them in the tournament, latter stages for Spain.
I was unlucky.
That's unlucky.
I genuinely.
That's two really good chances there.
I genuinely thought that was a good save, but he hit the crossbar. I didn't realise the keeper didn't get touched.
Yeah, rattled off the crossbar, beat the keeper. We're playing really good passing football back into our own area. Very good. We're shooting at the other end. I don't know if they've realised that. Rafinha, pacey boy, isn't he? Pacey boy. But more important things. We've hit the woodwork most this season, 18 times. Can you imagine 18 goals? What a difference 18 goals would have made to our season.
Well, it'll be 18 more goals on your
Yeah, but think of the results differences. I would rather take it in the post than losing, but dropping points from a winning position. Liverpool, bit of a farcical at the moment. I know we've spoken about it briefly a number of times, but it is quite quickly turning into the worst Premier League title defence ever. Do you think they're going to sack Klopp?
No.
Why?
I know we spoke about this at the start of this podcast with potentially Steven Gerrard coming in, and I think that would be a massive gamble for Liverpool to do. I know he's obviously the Captain Marvelous or whatever, the Captain Fantastico or whatever his bloody nickname was, but he's done it in the Scottish Premier League. And I know I'm not saying that he wouldn't be able to cut it at the highest level in the Premier League. I think there may be a job for him in the future, but I certainly don't think for Jurgen Klopp he will get sacked before the end of the season.
Do you not think
For starters, they're still in the Champions League.
Yep.
They are, I believe, still in the FA Cup.
I don't know.
I mean, there's still competition. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to win the Champions League this year at all. They're up there with the inconsistencies of us at the moment, and potentially, obviously, looking at their run of form recently, you wouldn't hazard a bet of them not, or us. I would actually have a bet for us finishing above them this year. I'm not saying something given how inconsistent that we've been.
Yep, and this was my thinking, right? Is the Champions League, you've got to be on it every game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to go out this round. I don't know who they've got, but I think they're out this round. Their home form is abysmal. It's the worst ever in terms of home form. When you look at Jurgen Klopp's previous blow-ups from his previous clubs, when it starts to go wrong, it goes very wrong, and there is no way of correcting it. He just leaves the club. I know Liverpool fan. Oh, another go by Fornals. Wow, it's been wrong with that time. Not far away. Maybe a little bit greedy, but we're 2-0 up, so you can have them. This is what I mean. This is what I mean by snatching it at chances. Is he's had a go, but not quite on target. I know that Liverpool fans will say Van Dijk is injured, and that's why we're doing terribly. You can't base that around one player. Yes, although he is a good defender, you can't say that your inconsistencies in the rest of the pitch, midfield, striking,
because of that one player.
Oh, because of one player. Yes, he can make a difference. As we said, goalkeepers can make a difference, so can defenders. But you can't blame how poor it is on him being injured. Yes, okay, Matip's been injured as well, so is Joe Gomez. But that's when you have a squad of players.
Henderson's had a couple of injuries as well, and
yeah, but they should have thought that's always got to play. If our key players get injured, what do we do? And they don't seem to have a plan B. I think they've scraped a few lucky results, like against us. They're one of the results where they did beat us. We were shocking, but we gave them far too much credit. We was expecting a Liverpool of old, and because we gave them that sort of credit and too much respect, they did run riot. Every other team who's taken it to them has beat them quite convincingly. Fulham took the game to them, went, "Come, then we'll play at your own game," and they just fell over.
From watching that game, they definitely, I think personally, Fulham had the better chances in that particular game. And what a goal! That was actually one of my contenders for goal of the week as well.
If we played them like Fulham, like we're playing Leeds now, we would have won. But here's my thinking: you get rid of Klopp and bring in an interim for the rest of the season. And next season, Steven Gerrard takes over. Your players are going to be back fit. You're going to bring one or two in that he likes. I would imagine probably Morelos would join him, although he's a little bit temperamental with his aggression on the pitch. He's got the ability to score the goals and would fit in to that mould of Firmino, I think. And then you get back to winning ways. So not only have you got a club legend leading the way, which is going to give the fans a boost, you then back to winning ways, which is going to give the fans a boost, and it's all happy days. from an owner's perspective, if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But out of all the managers who have got big jobs recently, Frank Lampard being one, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being another, Carl Arteta, he's put in the most graft as terms of actually managing squads. I think Lampard had one season with Derby, didn't he? Solskjaer was relegated Cardiff and done not a lot with every other team he's been at.
Yep.
Arteta was an assistant manager at City. In terms of putting in the time, he's managed at the youth level at Liverpool. Then he's gone up to Rangers and done really well there, won their 55th title. Absolutely stormed the league. Not like that, it's been close, they've stormed it. I think it would be time for a change at Liverpool, especially if they go out of the Champions League.
I think, so how long has Klopp been at Liverpool now? It's about 4 years, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
So 4 or 5, I can't remember.
It's 4, 4 or 5. It's one of them.
Yeah, so I know Liverpool had a plan and all that sort of stuff, and obviously he won the title last season. But I think for me, one of Liverpool's downfalls this season was their recruitment.
Yes.
They did. I know they absolutely romped the league last year. I think there are extenuating circumstances for their performances last year.
Yeah.
I think a lot of last year was, in fact, no, I think that's doing them a disservice because there was, for a large portion of the season, I think up until, what was it? Must have been 2/3 of the season, there were fans still in stadiums and they were absolutely romping the league at that particular point. However, they have, or every year you need to kind of build on your success, build on your squad.
Yep.
And Liverpool, for me, stood still, and they've had to get in a couple of quick fixes because of injuries to certain players. Now, I can't remember. Was it Tomiskas or something?
Yep.
Was one of the players they only bought in the summer transfer window, or there was and Diego Jota as well. He was another player. Obviously he's been injured as well. He was having a bit of good scoring form, but in their positive results, Jota was carrying them through them. Yes,
at the beginning of the season, he got injured.
They've fallen apart, and I actually spoke to a Liverpool fan on Friday about their performances recently and all that sort of stuff, and it's even he's kind of admitted how poorly Liverpool are doing, and he's one of these people that one of the typical Liverpool fans that we've been speaking about quite a lot on our channel about how they only sing when they're winning and all this sort of business. But I mean, it was quite a realistic attitude and quite a realistic response, and he said for the likes of Bobby Firmino, Sadio Mane.
Free kick. Hang on. Chris Wills put it in. Oh, we get the back across. Declan Rice. Oh, wide. Corner. Got to be a corner, surely. VAR looking at it for handball. I wouldn't have said handball. Going through bodies, but I wouldn't have said handball. Wow, his elbow, we've seen him give him.
Yep.
We've seen him give him.
Away.
So here's the thing. Would that be in his natural silhouette because he's brought it across his body?
Me personally, I would say no.
No, I wouldn't give it as a handball. I don't think the intent was there. I think he was trying to turn his back on it. Another corner. Put in and header out. Come to Benrahma. Put in the ball. It's all a bit bitty, isn't it? Oh, here comes a counter attack. Sorry, right, go on. Back to Liverpool and Tomiskas and
So he was basically saying that Mo Salah is one of the only players that seems to be wanting to fight for Liverpool, and to be honest, I think I agree. I think one of the disadvantages that Liverpool have had is how well Sadio Mane was scoring last season and the season before that.
Yep.
And I think he's just played far too many games that he's allowed to go off the boil. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, in fact, no. I know what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to say it. Is that you're allowed a bad run of fixtures. Every
Yep.
striker has goal droughts, don't they?
Yep.
Or most people have goal droughts at some point. But he seems to think that it's the work rate, and I think possibly it's just going back to something you mentioned earlier about winning games brings confidence, and because they are in such a slump compared to what they have been in previous seasons, it must be so damaging to them in terms of their confidence. Whereas the last couple of seasons, they were flying high. They were 1 point off for winning the league 2 seasons ago. Absolutely romped the league last year. And this year they're having to work for it. But I think injuries hasn't helped, but everyone has injuries. And I think their recruitment has been so poor that they haven't, or they've effectively stood still, where the other teams around them have recruited better.
Yep.
And they're paying the price for it now.
They done what Tottenham did when Tottenham built the new stadium. Is they went, we've spent X amount of money. We've got a good, decent squad, fairly young. They're going to build on that. Liverpool didn't build a new stadium, but I do think they believe their own hype that they were untouchable. And I think you hit nail on the head. Their recruitment was poor. I think in defence they went, well, we've got Van Dijk, let's sell everyone else. We've got Gomez, let's sell everyone else. So they was left with Matip. They got rid of Liverpool, and I know he was primed for an absolute clanger every now and again, but he was a decent defender. He put the ball in Rowe's head. He wasn't necessarily playing the nice football. I'm going to take you out, and I'm going to head it away, and I'm going to put it in Rowe's head. And that's what he was doing. He's an old-fashioned defender. Mane, I get what you're saying with Mane. Is he played a lot of games, scored a lot of goals, got a lot of assists, and they sort of relied on that. I know Firmino was getting assists and Salah was scoring goals, but that seemed to be coming from the gut busting runs of Mane, and he did play every game, all of every game. I know he's been rested recently. He's been coming on as a sub or coming off at like 60 minutes, but I think you're right. I think the amount of games they've played recently, because they were competitive in a lot of competitions. They did play in the Club World Cup. They did get to the final of Champions League 2 years in a row. He was playing every game in the Premier League. Eventually, you're going to run out of form. You've had 2 years of absolutely blinding form. And yeah, I think you're right. I think he's just hit the point where he goes, his body's gone, I can't sustain.
Yep.
I do think he's quality. I think he's got the quickest hat trick in the Premier League ever. So I think the quality will show through eventually after a little bit of rest. You point about Salah working for the club. I don't think he's working for Liverpool. I think Mo Salah's working for Mo Salah in the hopes to get a move to Real Madrid in the summer. Knowing that if he does, a bit like Eden Hazard was the standout player in Chelsea for many years. They was having a really shit season. He was still the player playing. Salah's the one in a very similar boat. I'm looking at a big move to end my career. And I think that's what he's after. I think the fact that they will go for Mbappe over him will mean that next year he'll just down tools because he'll go, well, what am I playing for? They're not going to buy me now. But they're an aging squad, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Firmino's 29, Salah's 29, Henderson's 28, Thiago's 29, I think. Keita's younger. I think Fabinho's about 25, 26. They're an aging squad. And even in January, when they bought Thiago, Liverpool fans were like, oh, he's brilliant. Was it January or was it the summer? Can't remember. When they brought him, tell us how good a player he was, and they played us. Must have been last season.
Yeah, no, I think it was the during the summer as well. I think it was like a deadline day job.
Yeah, but when they played us, it was like, oh, he had the most passes ever in the Premier League in one half, and it's like, yeah, but they were all backwards or sideways against a team where we weren't in your half. You know, since then he's done nothing. He's not a player to run around. He's a player to pass the ball backwards and sideways. But with all the things that were going on in their squad, why would you spend that much money on him to bring him in?
I think possibly that was because wasn't his contract up at Bayern Munich or something? So he was possibly a free agent. I think it was. But he must have had some ridiculous sign-on bonus.
He's on big money as well.
Sorry,
he's on big money as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was just about to say.
Antonio's muscling everyone here.
Can I just ask, what is the deal with Antonio's shorts?
His legs are the size of small redwood trees. So obviously, when they pull up, they have to pull up because otherwise they'll just split. Because he's an absolute unit.
Wait, they are some absolute legs on. But it's the left one is riding up higher than the right. It's really bugging me.
I think as he slides in and they rise up, I just he ain't bothered about his shorts. He's bothered about playing football and getting the ball back.
What a tackle!
He's an absolute monster, Antonio. And right, oh wow, it was a good tackle. It was a good tackle. But Jamaica making moves. Lots of players who are not getting in the England squad to try and change their allegiances. So Ravel Morrison's already there because obviously they're in the. I think they're in the next World Cup. Ravel Morrison's already changed his allegiance. They're looking at Damari Gray from Leicester, Antonio from us, Mason Holgate from Everton. Like there's a whole stream of Premier League players who are good players that they're trying to poach away. What was because they've changed the rules, haven't they? For thinking if your great grandparents, I think it go back to now, are there rather than just grandparents, and you've got a passport, you can play for that country.
It's a tough one. I think side don't want to do.
Missed that. Come on.
Sorry, I was just saying that I think it's definitely going to be something that these players are going to have to consider. I know I may be speaking out of term here, but there are some significant players in the Premier Leagues that would want to represent their country or represent a country. And I suppose if you do have family ties to other countries, it does give you that ability. I suppose it depends on how much. I'm trying to say this without sounding like.
Here's the thing.
Not so much racist, but
it's hard, isn't it? If you're born in England and you're raised in England, to me, I consider myself English. So England is the team to play for, and I think there's a number of players that are like that. But when you look at how the England squad is selected, it's not necessarily done on form.
No.
Cal Antonio hasn't received a call up yet. I think he's had one call up in a friendly, and that was 2 seasons ago when he was in half decent form. He's since the restart has scored the most goals and got the most assists combined. He's up of English players. I think Harry Kane is the only person above him. Yet he doesn't get a look in because he plays for West Ham.
Yep.
And at that point, from a career perspective, you want to say, I've played in the World Cup. I've played in the European Championships. So you would jump at any opportunity to do that. And I wouldn't blame them for doing that.
No, I completely agree with you. without trying to beat around the bush, that's basically where I was trying to get.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think with the current regimes, I know Gareth Southgate come out when he first got the job to say that he was going to be picking players on form, and to give him his dues when he was first in the England setup, I think he very much did that.
Yeah.
However, as time has gone past, he's reverted back to the same players that you could predict that he was going to pick regardless of format. So as you quite rightly said with Mikel Antonio, I doubt he would get a call up. There's certain people that would certainly rally for him to have the call up, but I don't think he would get it. I think there's other players that would possibly get it over him. But
the aesthetic of England player better.
Sorry,
there's other players that fit the aesthetic of being an England player better than he does.
Yeah, and if that is the case, that you don't, because I think it's once you've played an international, a competitive international, that's when you are tied to that. Yeah, for that country.
But he's only ever played in a friendly.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. So he needs to obviously seriously about whether he wants to try and represent England, because let's be honest,
another one,
the chances aren't going to come too often, because I know we've got the competition this year, and then I think we've got the World Cup the year after.
I think you're correct, yeah.
Because we've obviously had the interrupted year because of the pandemic. So I mean, there is still a possibility that he could represent his country. Sorry, he could represent England for the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But I think realistically, if he has the option to represent someone else,
I think Declan Rice is going to wallop this. West Ham have got a free kick just on the edge of the box. Declan Rice has just spat all over himself. Lingard, Cresswell and Declan Rice all stand over it. Rice's shorts were a bit questionable as well at this point. I know you're saying about Antonio's. Oh, it's a bit of a tricky play. For a team that have scored the most set pieces in the league, that was horrific.
I actually thought that was quite a well worked free kick. However, if the shot was on target,
executed. But from that distance, you've got to hit the target. Regardless of how you play, you've got to hit the target.
Agreed.
We've got 15 minutes left of this game. I can't see us getting another 3 goals.
No.
Second half has been a little bit lacklustre. We had that opening bout of Rafinha, and then Fornals is crossbar it. But since then, it's gone a bit flat, hasn't it?
What
it's been a lot of attacks, but you're a little bit ahead of me still.
Only very fractionally, I think.
Who did the turn?
Antonio.
I've not seen it. I might have missed it. What minute are you on? This is the question.
76:58.
Oh, you're 8 seconds ahead of me then. Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I think this is one of those days where Leeds aren't going to take their chances.
But they scored too early on, but the one was offside and the other was
ball was out
off the pitch quite completely. But yeah, I think you're right. They've had a few good chances, probably the better of the chances. Certainly more chances than us. They just can't hit the target. What was it when they played you? Wasn't it they hit the post about 800 times?
I think that in the first fixture they couldn't get the ball anywhere near us in the second, or in the home leg. So in the away leg it was 1-1, and I think it only was 1-1 because we ended up having Pepe sent off by Alioski rolling around like an absolute cheat. Excuse me.
Don't have a play. I hate the game.
Yeah.
Right, here's a question. And Pepe's hit a little bit of form recently, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that comes from playing consistently, or do you think that's from media attention being elsewhere other than focused on him and his price tag?
No, I think it's a change of position.
Okay.
because we had seen him starting out on the left-hand side, and I think since he's been out on the right-hand side, he's been a bit of a revelation for us. I think one of the difficulties that he had, he's a left-footed player, and he was playing out on the left, and therefore you would assume for him to cut in, or the idea would be to run down the wings, cut in, and then be able to bend the ball in with his left foot. However, being playing out on the left-hand side, he's always going to have some sort of outswinging cross, for example, or the shot's going to be more awkward because of your body position against the goal. It's always going to be near post, isn't it? Or it's going to be a wild slice to go far post. So I think since he's played out on the right-hand side and he has the ability to cut in like Aubameyang when Aubameyang plays out on the right-hand side, so they run down and then cut in on their respective foots or respective feet. I think he's definitely better out on the right-hand side, but then you do run the risk of, for how well Saka's played this year, to potentially jeopardise his position in the team. However, that being said, he's only 18 or 19 years old. He's got years ahead of him. Nicolas Pepe is our record signing, and you want to try and get a tune out of him. But I think he's definitely enjoying his football more just recently because of his run of good form. He's scoring some goals. I still don't think he's warranted his price tag. Still can be a bit hit and miss. But I think we are seeing a better form out of him.
Fair enough. I think the point you touched on there is Saka's 18 years old. I would also say he's probably a more complete player, certainly more versatile. We've seen him play deployed at left wing back. We've seen him play at left wing. We've seen him play at right wing. We've seen him play a little bit through the middle on occasion. So I do think he's got the pick of the field, really.
Yeah, definitely.
As to where he wants to play. Surprisingly, one of the players who you were contemplating not signing up to a long contract because he wanted big money. Or bigger money. Saka. End of last season, he was in a contract standoff, wasn't he, with Arsenal? He had 2 years. He had 2 years left, and you didn't want to pay him much. And then he signed a long-term contract for a fairly decent whack. Not hundreds of thousands, but it's certainly up there.
To be honest, I mean, it was him, Fro, Gabriel Martinelli all come up for their contracts. And I think one of the things that they were discussing were obviously wages. And I think him, Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli, I think they're all on around about the same sort of wage. It's nothing astronomical. I think it's only 40 grand a week, which I think is kind of fair for players of their ages. Obviously, you don't want to be doing the ridiculous contracts that we've seen some players get through the club.
Yeah.
But yeah, he obviously signed the long-term deal, which was good.
The trouble is with Arsenal, they've signed him up to a long-term deal, and because of that, what we've seen previously is we're not going to renegotiate terms because you've got 4 years left. And that's where then the younger players go, well, I'll just run my contract out then. I say younger players. We saw it with Aaron Ramsey, didn't we? He left. Jack Wilshere left. We've seen a number of players leave over the years. Do you think that... I mean, Emil Smith-Rowe has been a bit of a revelation this season, had a few good games, maybe not played enough to warrant a new contract, but certainly Saka, you'd be looking at saying, right, let's tie you down to a big money deal or even longer. Let's give you a 7-year deal, which will take you up to, 25, but we'll give you 90 grand a week. Rather than giving Willian a 3-year deal, 140 grand a week.
I'll tell you what I'll say to this.
Go
on. And I know they play in slightly different positions and it's a different era of football. However, we had Nicholas Bentner, Lord Bentner, a kind of like an underground legend at Arsenal.
Yep.
Now he signed a new contract when he was very young with us. To be honest, I was actually quite surprised a couple of seasons ago when he was still on our books. And just didn't realise the amount of times the poor kid had been on loan to various different outfits, various different countries, and it was quite astonishing. However, I think one of his big issues was that he was a young player that obviously had some talent.
Yeah.
Best striker in the world, self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
And I think that went to his head.
Okay.
He got signed on a contract, a long contract for 52 grand a week.
Yeah.
A youngish age. He then proceeded to have the number 52 on his shirt because of the 52 grand a week. And I think it got a little bit too much for him.
Okay.
Obviously because of his scoring rate for Arsenal, the amount of loans he went on. So that's where I would only say with offering him a substantial amount. I think he's definitely earned his dues. He's come through the ranks. I mean, he's a player that I wasn't too keen on a couple of seasons ago. I thought he was very raw. I didn't really see the potential that he's putting out now. And there have been countless conversations that I've had with a good friend of ours that I didn't think he was the complete player that we are seeing. However, over the last year and a bit, he's definitely flourished as a player, and I think he's warranted his contract. Would I look to increase his contract? Possibly, but I wouldn't say to go anywhere near 100,000 as it stands at the moment.
Even though he's been your best player by a country mile.
Yeah, but he's done that for 1 and a bit seasons. If he hits, and the reason I say is if he hits the same season,
yep,
the same outstanding performance, then yes, possible discussions for that. But even then, I don't think I would go as close to say 90,000 because again, he would only be 20.
Yep. Here's my thinking behind bringing that up. It's looking more increasingly unlikely you're going to be in Champions League.
Yep.
Or potentially even the Europa League next year.
Yep.
Being a young English player who has proven he's got the quality, you would think that some of the big boys who are up there this season, your likes of your Chelseas, your Man City, even possibly your Manchester United, will come calling, or possibly even, I know it was sound a bit hypocritical here, but Liverpool, I think they're gonna end up spending a lot of money in the summer. If they come calling and go, well, come to us, we'll give you X amount a year. Same contract you're on, but we'll double your money. Do you not think it's that little bit of incentive to say, even if it's incremental, so once you've played this many games and scored this many goals, it'll up. Like, so once you've played 50 games for the club, we'll up it at 10 grand. Once you've scored 25 goals, we'll up it another 5, up to the point of that. So it may be 4 years in the making to get to that point, but it sort of incentive-driven long-term contract for big money.
No, yes, I do think that is a good way. And to be honest, I think that should be the way for more players, more younger players, and certainly for possibly some senior players as well, because I think there's far too much money in the game as it is. And we've seen clubs being crippled by player wages, and I know it's not only going to be player, it's going to be revenue into the club and all that sort of stuff. But the higher wages, I think, are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And with the current pandemic that we have seen, I think it would be more manageable for clubs for players on lower wages if you have that performance based contract, but it's never going to happen. So it's a moot point. But yes, I do think that is a good incentive for certainly the younger academy or coming through the academy players. Definitely.
Yeah. So, and that leads on to a point that we've discussed for years now of do you think there'll ever be a wage cap?
No.
And previously we've said that it won't happen until one of the big clubs dissolves. So obviously with a year of little to no income from crowds and things like that, although they don't make up a big percentage of revenues, with likes of the like all your refreshments, all the merch you'd sell on match days, your program sales, everything like that, it's more likely to happen now than it ever has been. If we did see one of the Premier League clubs go into complete financial ruin to the point where they're liquidated, do you think at that point they'd go, we need to restructure what we're doing? So from now on, you cannot give X amount away. You've got to, and as the contracts run out, they then have to fit into that wage cap bill.
Well, they tried to kind of do that, didn't they, with financial fair play? And I think that one of the things that we learned from financial fair play is that it's there designed to keep the top six.
Yes, it benefits
in the position. Yeah. So I think it's definitely going to be difficult to kind of what's the word? It's going to be difficult to try and implement that rules. Because, like I said, we've already seen that with the introduction of the financial fair play. But I think regardless of what happens to big teams, there's always going to be people that have big contracts. I don't think there will ever be caps. I don't know. We have seen the likes of Barcelona just recently, last week, being investigated for money laundering and all that sort of stuff. So I know it's a different league or whatever, but could we see a shake up in the Spanish league because of that? And will we see that follow suit?
Yep.
I doubt it. There's too much money in our game as it stands at the moment. But no, I don't. I think it's a good idea, but I don't think we'll ever.
Not in our lifetime. I was just trying to look up what the annual salaries of clubs are. So the average annual salary of a Premier League player is over £3 million, which is madness. So when you look at what is it per oh, hang on, here we go. So per week, annual player salary, the Manchester City £8.73 million. A lot, isn't it?
That's a week.
Yeah. So do you think if you went, right, we're going to be realistic about it because they are high at the minute, let's give them £70 million a year for the team. Surely that's enough. We've got what, 25 players you can register in a team. That's still a lot, isn't it? It's still over £2 million each a year. If you can't live on that, then something's wrong with you. Right. I know, obviously, I know people go, oh yeah, but the tax but I think it would level the playing field.
I do as well.
I think it would make football more entertaining when everyone's on an even kill. So what's attracting players to the club? Actually, it's your facilities, it's your setup of your club, it's how the management is, it's how the owners run it. It then doesn't come to who's got the biggest pockets. It comes down to who runs a football club like a football club should be run. Because I think you look at Barcelona. We grew up with it as an institute of football. Actually, next generation is going to grow up with it as being a laughing stock because they were paying all sorts of people to throw their own players under the bus, their own management under the bus. If they as a wage cap, then that wouldn't have happened, would it? Because actually the level playing field, they would have had to stay as an institute of football to bring through all those brilliant players rather than spending millions every year on bringing in players from across the world.
Yep.
2-0 win.
There is. Now we can do the score updates.
We'll go on. But,
So
I've got a point for that game. I know that much.
Yeah, and you got a point for the Arsenal Burnley game as well. So 2 points for you, 0 for me.
Take it. Oh, that means we've had a point, doesn't it?
Season totals: Ian on 45, me on 47.
Oh, and after Tottenham beat you 5-0, mate.
Yeah.
That one trophy you did have.
Oh my God! I'm going to be losing it. Yeah.
I'm going to have to put up another shelf.
Just for all your silverware.
For all the silverware, mate. For all the silverware. It's been a bit of an odd one tonight. We've rambled on about bits and pieces. We've spoken about Scottish football. We've spoken a little bit about Spanish football. We've spoken a lot about Premier League football. All whilst West Ham climbed back up to 5th in the table. Solid win. Bit of a boring second half, if I'm totally honest with you.
Yep.
First 4 minutes was entertaining, then fell off.
Yep.
But I'll take a boring 2-0 win. There's no
first
shame
half
in
was
that.
good.
First half was a bit more competitive. I think we were solid second half defensively. But started slow in each half, but Leeds couldn't capitalise on it. So, but we're improving because we beat them 2-1 last time. We beat them 2-0 this time. So it's an improvement. Another clean sheet. On to Manchester United.
Mate, I'm just looking at this. Right. So Arsenal are on 38 points, Liverpool on 43. So that puts us 5 points behind.
Yes.
If we win our game in hand,
yes,
and then beat, just say for argument's sake, Arsenal win every game now to the end of the season.
Yes.
Liverpool lose against us.
Yes.
That will put us above Liverpool.
Yes, it would.
I know it's all hypothetical. I'll say that word again. I know it's all hypothetical, but this could be the first season in a few seasons where I actually win my money off Phil.
Fair enough. I'm sure he'll make some excuse of actually written into the contract that if there was no fans in stadium, it doesn't actually count as a football match. But this is what I was saying. If results carry on the way they are, if Liverpool go out, I think they're going to be in a similar position to you guys where their players go on holiday because what are they playing for? And at that point, their form will drop. And I think as soon as they hit 10th or below, Klopp's gone.
I don't think they'll go down that low. I know Aston Villa have got a couple of games in hand, which could potentially see them go above Liverpool anyway.
Yeah, I'm just going to look up the table myself because it's been a little while since I've looked. I know we're 5th, unfortunately, because Chelsea won, but they did beat Everton, which sort of benefits us. So it's a hard one. Right, Premier League table. So Liverpool, 43. Yeah, your Aston Villa 2 games in hand, 40. Mm-hmm. So if they win, if they get a win and a draw, Liverpool will go to 9th. If you've got a game in hand, which would put you 2 points behind them. So it's not. There's 30 points to play for, just over for some teams. Wouldn't be inconceivable for them to fall down. I know Leeds have just come back up, but to only 1 game in hand. But they're only 7 points behind. Well, no, 8 points behind. Sorry. So you think that's a 3-game swing, isn't it? The current form Liverpool are in. It's a difficult one. So, and one final question to finish it off. As we're talking about Premier League table, it looks pretty certain that Sheffield United and West Brom are getting relegated this year.
Yep.
Fulham are the informed team of the lower half of the table. Who do you think is getting relegated?
Newcastle.
I'm glad you said that because I thought the same. been a bit of a yo-yo club over the last 10 years. And I don't think that's going to change.
No.
But that does mean there are a few players up for grabs potentially in the summer.
I just looked at the goal difference for Sheffield United and West Brom. That is shocking.
West Brom have been more solid since they've been under Big Sam.
As you would expect.
They're just they've gone from being the best team in the league by a country mile to being the worst team in the league by a country mile. And I know we say that the Championship is very competitive because lots of teams are close. It's a big jump, and that's what's shown, isn't it? You think all the teams, Leeds, okay, they've done well, but you'd argue they've got an elder statesman of the game who's been there and done everything. And even they're not convincing completely, are they? If you give them 5 years in the Premier League and their recruitment's good, then I think they will be decent side. Yeah, no, I agree. I think Newcastle going out. I think Fulham will get out of the drop zone, and I think Brighton are more dangerous than Newcastle. Burnley are solid. They grind out results. They've not had the best of times recently, but they will grind out results. And I think Southampton are maybe a little bit too far away, and so are Crystal Palace. They might get drawn in the last few games, but I think they're a little bit too far away now to worry.
Yep.
It's about, what, 30, 35, 36 points, isn't it? You're looking at. You're definitely safe, mathematically, I would imagine.
Thanks, mate.
You hit the point. But yeah, big 3 points for West Ham. Big 3 points. And I did say the next 5 games will make or break our season. We didn't get the result we wanted against City. We have now, so we need to push on against United. And hopefully you'll throw us a bone to put us above Chelsea.
It's only because I love you if you win.
Yeah. Well, we've got, when we look at our fixtures, we have got to play Chelsea again this season. And United we've got up next. So I think he's sort of in our own hands. If we can grind out even 2 points, it's going to be a good thing. But yeah, I think we should call it a night.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, mate. I always do like in the.
We haven't had as much interaction this time, but we have had 24 people in and out, coming in and out. So yeah.
Thank you for those who tuned in.
Yeah, if you're interested, predictions and match previews will be out this week, and we'll be back for a podcast as normal next Tuesday. See you later.